You lucky motherfucker. Okay, let's roll.
Rap music and video games go hand in hand these days. Looking back through history, the first prominent presence of rap stars in video game form was in 1995's Rap Jam Volume 1 for the Super Nintendo. Players could play as stars such as LL Cool J and Queen Latifah. As technology moved on, we saw more rap music included in games such as Tony Hawk and yearly sport games. With the release of the Def Jam games in the mid-noughties, hip-hop was in the forefront of gaming culture. Not wanting to miss out, rappers wanted a slice of the action. While Snoop Dogg's game Fear and Respect was sadly cancelled before release, 50 Cent managed to offer 3 different titles brandishing his name and likeness. Were they any fun to play? Well, in this retrospective, I'll be looking at 50 Cent games. This is the first title in the 50 Cent trilogy, simply titled 50 Cent Bulletproof, which was developed by Scottish company Genuine Games. Now just look at that close-up face shot on the box art. Do you think a designer was proud of their facial character design, or do you think it was 50 Cent's special request? Anyway, you're introduced to Fiddy and his cronies, and you're straight into the action. And with that, straight away you'll see the biggest problem of the game, its gameplay. While not terrible, the game doesn't exactly let you move and shoot as smoothly as you want. The camera can get way too sticky, with 50 completely disappearing from the screen sometimes. After shooting through the introductory levels, you then reach the HUD, which serves as the hub world. From here you can select your missions, buy weapons and health, and even buy your own music and music videos from the back of this dodgy guy's car. Wait a minute, he's charging $1,000 each for 50 to buy his own songs. That's daylight robbery there. It's in the HUD where you'll meet Grizz, played by Dr. Dre, and Detective McVicker, played by Eminem. It's cool to see the cameos, but I would say that Eminem does the best job in the voiceover department. In terms of plot, as 50, you're shot 9 times and left for dead, much like his real life ordeal he likes to mention. You then take on notorious gangs and such. It's basically a wankathon for 50 Cent, with some lovely vitamin water product placement to go with it. There is some slight variation to the gameplay. You can take enemies as hostage to use them as shields. You can grab onto these dumpsters to use as shields and throw them into enemies. And you can also perform a variety of violent takedowns during combat, with more available to purchase. There's a good amount of weapons to find and unlock, it's just a shame that the shooting gameplay doesn't really do them justice. The levels don't have a good variety to them, you'll be walking through the same dark and dingy environments in each level. Ultimately, I'd say this is a game only for big 50 Cent fans. There's over 4 CDs worth of his music to unlock, and plenty of videos and extras too. But for the casual shooter fan, there's much better options on the Xbox and PS2. Looking back, it seems gamers who played this when it was released have a soft spot for it. But as someone who's playing it for the first time recently, I can only see it as average at best. When you've got great games like GTA and True Crime on the same system, this just pales in comparison. Understandably, the game received average reviews at the time. The year after, in 2006, the game was turned into a top-down shooter developed by High Voltage for the PSP named G-Unit Edition. It's pretty much the same game with the same cutscenes, but the top-down gameplay works well on the handheld system. The aiming lock makes it easier to dispatch enemies, and the minimap helps with traversing levels. Included in the game is a multiplayer mode too. I'd say the PSP version of Bulletproof was a little more fun to play, but again it pales in comparison to better PSP games of a similar genre. Finally, we have the sequel to Bulletproof. Released in 2009, 50 Cent Blood on the Sand was released for the PS3 and 360. The game is once again a third-person shooter, but this time the gameplay is much better and the action is over the top and fun. The plot starts as you just finish a concert by dropping the mic. you find that the promoter can't pay you your $10 million fee. I really think they should have negotiated that fee better. Instead of money, he gives you a crystal skull as collateral, which is then swiftly taken by some bitch.
Where'd she go? That bitch took my skull.
Yeah, where'd she go? That bitch that took my skull. That's the entire storyline. That bitch took my skull. Let's find her.
It becomes 50's mission to get his skull back by killing hundreds of people along the way.
Where's your boss, bitch?
The gameplay here is far better than Bulletproof. Taking cover and aiming are far easier, making the game more fluid and fun. There's more of an emphasis on gaining points throughout the levels. You'll do this by chaining kills together, completing mini challenges, and finding posters of yourself, of course. You can tell this game borrows heavily from Bizarre Creations' The Club, which was released the year before. Look, it's even got those little targets hidden within the game that you have to shoot. Even if it's still a bit of a rip-off, it's still quite fun. Much like Bulletproof, you collect money from dead bodies and use that to buy new weapons from payphones. There's a good variety of assault rifles, pistols, and other high-powered weaponry. Included are some driving segments which spice up the gameplay. You can also play through the game online with a friend via co-op. Again, there's a load of 50 Cent music included in the game for any fans to enjoy, but even if you're not, there's still fun to be had with blood on the sand, even if there's no sophistication whatsoever.
Where's your boss, bitch?
So what lies within the future for Mr. Cent and video games? Well, recently he was asked by GameSpot if he would like to release another game, and this is what he said. Definitely, I'm interested. I just have to find the right concept. Everything I touch, I want to be unique. Well, let's hope he finds a unique concept, because I think murderous shooting rampages are getting a little repetitive now.
Fucking barbarian. All I've thought about is getting revenge. But it's impossible. No one can touch him.
I can. Tell me where he is.